In section 5.2 homework, this is problem number 3. We're given that angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair, and the measure of angle 1 is equal to 120 degrees. And we are trying to prove that angle 2 is acute. Now, looking at the picture, I can assume that angle 2 is an acute angle just by how it looks. However, we do want to go through the process and fill in the reasons as to why. So notice I have a given, the substitution property, the subtraction property, the definition of a linear pair, which if you look on that sheet that we talked about today, a linear pair are two angles that come together to form a straight line, or two angles that come together to equal 180 degrees. And then the definition of an acute angle, which is angles that measure less than 90 degrees. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're aware of what all of these reasons mean before starting your proof. Okay. So statement A says angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair, and the measure of angle 1 equals 120. And I know that because that's my given statement, and that's also my given reason. Okay. From there, I can say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 180. Now, if you look at the picture, angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180, and I can say that because it's the definition of a linear pair. Okay. And if you're confused on where I got that, look on the linear pair definition, and it says it here. Measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals 180. Okay, notice now how did I go from statement B to statement C? Well, everything in the statements are the same, except the measure of angle 1 got changed to 120 degrees. Now, how did it do so? If you look up above I know that the measure of angle 1 is 120. So I was able to plug that 120 in for the measure of angle 1. And when you plug something in, that is the substitution property. Okay. From there, in order to go from statement C to statement D, the measure of angle 2 is still there, and somehow I did something with this 120 and this 180 in order to get a 60. So how did I go about solving this equation? Well, I subtracted 120 on both sides, and that property is called the subtraction property. Okay. Now that last step there says that angle 2 is an acute angle. And what I know about that definition of an acute angle is that it has to measure less than 90 degrees, which it does because it measures 60. So I can now say that by the definition of acute angle, angle 2 is acute.